It's all the way live. Yes. Oh my goodness, Mr. Derreck Johnson. I'm so excited. I have so many people that have been calling me. What time? What time are you going to be live? What time? And I'm like, we will be live at 5 o'clock. I want to thank everybody for your patience and bearing with us. I really do appreciate you. We're about 8 minutes behind schedule. I'll be the first to say that Mr. Derreck was on time. Yours truly is multitasking as a new grandmother. And it's invigorating. It's exciting. And then at the same time, it's like, well, grandmommy gotta go. She has to go. So I'm trying to get that light out of the way so it doesn't blind anybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Cheryl Grant Live. I want to say first and foremost that I hope that everybody is doing fabulous and that this finds you in the best of spirits. I want to say that I'm just sending my love to all of those who are experiencing any difficulties as a result of this pandemic that we're in. I just want to send you love and light. Tonight, I have a phenomenal guest to introduce to you. Some will be new, but to most, you know who this man is. If you are from the Bay, then there's no way that you don't know Derreck Johnson. But before I introduce him, I want to say we here at Cheryl Grant Enterprises have created this platform where we really are dedicated to showcasing women and particularly women of color and men and their talents. We're here to highlight both the journey and the success stories of professionals and entrepreneurs of color. We want to explore all the important and necessary information to help guide, inspire, and encourage all aspiring business owners and professionals of colors. We plan here at SGE to equip you with specific concrete examples, tools, tips, and tricks that will lead you to living your own successes, not only in business, but in life. And the question that we always ask, are you ready to be fit? FIT stands for faith, intuition, and tenacity. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. Intuition is learning how to tap into that inner voice, that small voice that talks to you often. And then tenacity is just your willpower to go get it done. Today we are here. Derreck, your screen froze for a second. Are you okay? You there? You there?
Yeah, it
Good.
keeps freezing. Yeah,
No,
I'm here. It keeps going in and out. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, but I can see that it's going up. And sometimes that internet, I love that, especially with the PG&E doing some, I think, power cuts and stuff like that. So hopefully you won't be affected in one of those areas. But if for some reason we do disconnect, we'll gladly figure out a way to reconnect you. So without further ado, I am going to introduce to you. I'm sorry, D. You say something?
Nothing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
No.
So I'm going to introduce to you Mr. Derreck Johnson. So I'm going to do a brief bio, and then I'm going to give you my own overview of this amazing human being that we have before us. He basically, the unique moment Oakland demands, it basically, Derreck is the third generation Oakland-based and raised in the Acorn projects by a single mom. Growing up, Derreck saw people rise in the most inspiring ways and fall amongst the most tragic ways as well. Derreck has experienced many things in living here in Oakland. I have to share with you really, truly from my heart, Derreck, as you are going on this journey now at City at Large, Councilman City at Large, I want to say to you that the Derreck Johnson that I know is a guru. The Derreck Johnson that I know is an entrepreneur at heart. Derreck, I remember your story and I've heard it often because you and I have shared many moments together in which you've had an opportunity to share with me your humble beginnings. starting off, detailing cars and how you made your way and you really turned that from something into nothing. And then being able to not only have a business that is really doing well, but then having to pivot and reimagine and realign yourself to going into the restaurant business. You've had 3 or 4 franchises that you set up, and now you're going on another journey. And today, what I really want to do is really give the audience an opportunity to get to know Derreck Johnson, not just the entrepreneur, but just really understanding truly how you started, how some of the experiences that you had and how they made you better, and how they're going to prepare you on this next journey that you're about to embark upon. So audience, everybody, I want to say to you first and foremost, please help me in welcoming Mr. Derreck Johnson. Welcome, Derreck. Welcome.
Well, Cheryl, first of all, we go way back, and we have talked and definitely got our party on together over the over the years. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you. Thank FIT for having me tonight. And, it's really an honor to be here tonight. So let me just dive right in and give you a little introduction on me. These unique moments, there are some very challenging times. People are scared, sick, and dying. And we just need new leadership. I'm running for Oakland City Council at large because I believe this unique moment, we demand a different kind of leader. We need a council member at large who understands the struggles of the most vulnerable in our community and has a proven ability to transform lives. I understand that all too well. As you stated earlier, I'm born and raised in Oakland. I am from West Oakland. I'm from Acorn. I know a lot of people have questioned and said, you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth. I say, no, I didn't. I grew up with a determined, you're talking about women. I grew up, raised by a determined and with the possible, anyone that knew my mother, raised me, and it was a village that raised me. We were raised in the days where your mom's friends have a permission. There was no, what was that, timeout or call Child Protective Services. I didn't grow up in that age. You went to the tree and pulled the switch, and you know what happened after that. So, there you go. But yeah, I decided to run because, as you stated, I am a 3rd generation Oaklander, and there's 5 generations of my family here in the city now. My grandmother is 97 years young, and I'm blessed and honored to have her still alive and healthy and well. But the Oakland that I have, been.
Oh. Derreck, that is my fault. I'm so sorry. Please start over. Derreck, you just said your mother is where you left off. That's
okay.
What I heard.
Okay, so I was just saying that, my mother who raised me, she worked 3 jobs just so I can make it. And, the Oakland that I grew up in wasn't filled with this homelessness, wasn't filled with this filth and blight all over the city, and especially in the African-American community. We have the illegal dumping in the trash in East and West Oakland is just absolutely unacceptable. And we also, the incumbent is just not engaged in this community. Which is part of my lifestyle. It's not like this is a new job or a new career, which, politics is a new career. Let me state that, because I'm not a career politician. But being engaged in the community is not. I love Oakland. I bleed Oakland. Oakland is, everything about Oakland is who I am. So I decided, instead of complaining about it, to do something about it. Now, full disclosure, I have never had any political aspirations whatsoever. I always was told my mouth was a little too bad for that. So
no, never.
You hear me. So usually what's on my mind comes out of my mouth. I get that from my mother. But I was asking, in conversations, who's running for these offices? What young, Black young woman or man, guy is running? And the answer was nobody. So I feel that we have not done a good job of training the generations behind us to replace us. We need that right now. So I decided to just do it myself. So here I am. I'm usually a very private person, but privacy no more. I'm now open to the public, and I'm really excited about this new endeavor. I have really enjoyed the process thus far. Running for office is my first time ever running. It's been very very stimulating. There's been ups and downs, like a roller coaster ride. There's ups, there's downs. You just kind of gotta, ride the ride and ride it out. But we're almost at the finish line, so So yeah. So
first and foremost, I really want to congratulate you because I think you're definitely up for the task. And I think if there's anybody who can definitely get some things done and know how to navigate the city of Oakland, it would definitely be you, Derreck. I want to just kind of dial back though, Derreck. My platform is all about being fit, right? Faith, intuition, and tenacity. And so when you talk about, you taking this journey, how does your background position you feel as the perfect candidate? And I really want to start it back to Derreck. I want you to answer this question from a couple of different perspectives, if you will, for me. I want you to answer it from your actual journey, like what in your faith, what positions you, but I also want you to answer it from the perspective of the audience, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs out here right now that are struggling, Derreck. We have the pandemic before us. We have all these things that we're faced with. We have uncivil rest. We have all these things, and we're trying to figure out how to navigate and pivot. And I want you to come from experience and your own personal journey and how that applies to what you're about to embark upon as in this new role.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's actually a very great, very loaded question. So let's turn back the clock.
Unpack that.
Yeah. Let's turn back the clock. I've always known. Well, I've always been. I was born and raised in the Catholic Church. So I've always had a very strong faith-based upbringing. I always knew that I wanted to work for myself. Very, very early on. I went to, Catholic and Oakland public school. I graduated from Bishop O'Dowd. I left and I went to an HBCU. I'm an alum of Fisk University. And while I was at Fisk, I had the pleasure of being, or the honor, I should say, of being a.
Derreck, you froze. That's okay, because we're going to get it back. Right, there you go. Now you're back. So
okay. Yeah, it's not what I was going to say. So I was an intern student at IBM my junior and senior year of college. And that experience gave me affirmation that I did not want to work for corporate America, period. I came home, I entered the MBA program at Golden Gate University and actually did that for 1 month. And back then, it was training me to go work in an environment that I really didn't want to work in. So it seemed like a waste of time and money. So as I was interviewing for jobs, still trying to, think, oh, you got this degree, right? And you have to go work. And I think I was, me, Janice, Byron, all of us were our little crew. We were all, Kim was over at Xerox, Janice was at Hewlett Packard, and
my people.
Yeah, Byron was going to Clorox, and I had offers from all 4 companies, right? And I was like, what, which way am I going? IBM wanted to hire me back, and it just came to me. And this is that intuition, and it's God. I was riding BART, and I was really depressed because I was like, I'll just go back to IBM, and I was like, I don't want to do this, right? And I opened the paper, and it was like these guys in Marin were making $500 a day. I'll never remember that. And this is 1986, right? 87, 86. They're making $500 a day detailing cars. I was like, oh, whoa, hold on, time out. I'm very meticulous. I clean my car all the time. Let me get busy. So I said, ding dong. I didn't take the job offers. And I start doing cars. I'd go to everybody, probably people on this call. I'd wear you out. Your car kind of dirty. Let me come hook it up. So I myself had on overalls, rubber boots, and would go detail cars. And a young Henry Chan, I think is his name, for PNS, gave me the whole game, gave me the equipment. And not gave, I purchased the equipment, of course, but he showed me what to use in order to excel in that particular industry. And I just went for it. I'd hunted people down from the BART stations, got on the phone with all my friends, and, just developed a business. And before I knew it, I had customers like 2 and 3 a day, and it was 7 days a week. And I was like, oh, whoa, this is getting like, I don't have a day off. And, I'm young and I'm still wanting to go kick it at the club, and everybody want their cars done on Saturday and Sunday. And I learned the lesson quickly then, like, okay, well, Friday nights and Saturday nights, I guess I won't be at the party. I'm gonna be getting my money on. So that's really how it started. So it takes a lot of tenacity. It takes a lot of discipline, because when you work for yourself, of course, those of you who do, you're your own boss, you know. But what I was, you know, I had a really good extended family, and I was around a whole lot of people that really gave me a lot of information and kind of mentored me, and I actually listened. And that was put together a schedule, create some policies and procedures, a standard operation procedure.
Wow.
They said,
Going, you're just breaking up a little bit, Derreck. It keeps stopping, but I want to, while Derreck comes back to life, because right now,
at a certain.
Derreck, you're pausing. It's going in and out.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. And the thing that I just want to, before you finish, please do not lose that thought, because you're right on the right train of where I was trying to go. But you said so many things that one of the things, we're here to share who you are, but I'm also here to educate and empower others. And so Derreck gave you some very intricate, some tools that he was using in order to navigate his way to his next place. And what he said is he was depressed. Did you hear that? And he was sitting on the bus, or was it BART?
BART.
He was sitting on BART. Did you hear that? And he opened up the paper. The universe was talking to him, and he saw an ad about something he could do, and then he moved on it. He was also put himself around people that were like mind. He mentioned Janice. He mentioned Kim. He mentioned Byron. He mentioned people that was his community that helped put him on the right path. So I just want to point that out, Derreck, because as you navigate in this new career, it really is about being able to pull people together, have them be able to listen, get a common goal, and move in this right direction. So I just wanted to point that out. Please continue.
So, you know, I put together this manual, and I followed those rules. And then as the business grew, I needed a location. I couldn't afford a location in Oakland at the time. And my mother was my first investor. And I opened up on San Pablo Dam Road out in El Sobrante. And, you know, Kim Hill, I don't know if she's on this call. I used to call Kim. Hey, I need a secretary today. Can you answer the phone for a couple hours? You know,
she told me about that all the time, Derreck. She said, "I'm a secretary." I'm like, really? How did that work out? But
you gotta go to your network, and you can't be too proud to ask for help. Number one. So that business grew, and as it grew, I had the opportunity. There was this guy who was the vice president of Shorenstein. At the time, I didn't even know what Shorenstein was. You know, the major property management company. And they were building a building downtown Oakland, 155 Grand, Lake Mare Tower, which is right in front of the cathedral, right there on Grand and Harrison. And he said, you know, I want you to put your business down there. I was like, oh, yo, thank you. But, you know, I have no way I can afford to build, you know, a facility in a new building, you know, downtown Oakland. And he says, no, I don't want you all I need you to do is show up. I'm gonna build it, and I'm gonna amortize the build out over your lease payments. All you need is your supplies and what you need to do the work. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's it. It's good. And that's how I got my first business in Oakland. And from there, it was history. And that was God, because, you know, it was Monday through Friday. So my Friday and Saturday nights, I was back on, you know, so that's number one. And I went into a parking lot that was filled with cars every day. So people would just drop them off. And then I just took that and took it to the next level. I went to all the different garages and parking lots around downtown Oakland and start, you know, contracting them, picking up and delivering. I found a niche. And that's the other thing. You got to find, where does your business, where is it unique? Where does it fit in? Well, for me at the time, nobody was picking up and delivering cars. So you're at work, Cheryl, you know, driver would go to your office and get your car keys, clean your car, and bring it back. Bring your car. So, you know, it served the business professional, and then the community wrapped their arms around me. You know, the Black African American, you know, our community, my Black people came and supported my business like no other, and it just grew. And from there, I had another one, and one in San Francisco, and then they just grew. And then over time, the parking companies offered to, you know, buy me out. They did, and then I ventured into the restaurant business. You know, I did things in between. I had an urban marketing company in between that did very well. But the most unique thing, and I think what was my savior in business, was actually one day it was raining so hard, but we were slammed. I was like,
So it's raining, and you guys planned with cars.
We got cars. Everybody wanted their car clean. The interior, they wanted something. And I was like, oh my God, how are we gonna get this done? And I actually had 2 locations at that time. I had City Center in downtown Oakland and Lake Mare Tower. So one of the guys that was still there said, I'll call the house and get some of my brothers to come down. I said, oh my God, please call the house. Now I'll go pick them up. I didn't know the house was a halfway.
Wow.
For it just happened. And once I hired them, and they were like, we really need a job. I was like, you got a job. And they're like, really? And just they were so appreciative, and just listening to their story about.
Wow. I hate that we keep dropping.
I say them, no.
You are so good, and this is so good.
To the restaurant business. And
we keep dropping you.
I'm here. Am I back?
Fire, but then it just dropped right in the middle. So I just want to be aware, but it's good. Yeah. Keep on going, Derreck. You're on a roll. You're on a roll, baby. You're on a roll.
So I kept hiring them, and what has been the most fulfilling aspect of me being in business is really watching these young men and women, Black for the most part, Latino, change their life. Come in hard, come in with no hope, no aspiration, and turn around, leave me, go on. I have people that are now lawyers that are, have their own businesses that started right at the car wash or right at that restaurant. And that's the most thing that I'm proud of, is helping someone transform their life. And so, being in business has been a privilege. It's been an honor. I'm very, very thankful that God has blessed me, that I've been my own boss since I was 23 years old. However, my biggest reward is these young men and women that have turned their lives around and that have gone on and that have thanked me. And most of the people, I've even forgot who I hired, to be perfectly honest. But through this process of running for campaign, have reached out and just have been like, thank you. This is what I'm doing now. And it warms my heart. This one guy, Wale, who I've been texting all day, and he was just like, man, I finally got your number. I just wanted to let you know, thanks for the talks about education and going to school. I got my master's degree and I'm working in Silicon Valley now. I mean, those kind of things are life-changing and are very fulfilling, for me. And that's what we really need in our community. Everybody that's a professional, everybody that's successful, come out of the hills, come out of the suburbs and come back to Oakland and touch these young brothers and sisters and talk to them. Tell them your story, because most people think that are out here in the hood right now, you made it, you can't, you've always had it like that. No, I didn't. I worked very, very hard. Some days in that restaurant, I would work 3-4 months straight without taking one day off, 14, 15 hours a day, wearing myself out, being in Oakland, going to Walnut Creek, going to Daly City. It's a lot of work and it takes a lot of tenacity, but you got to stay focused and have belief in yourself, and you can do it.
Right. Well, you just said so much, Derreck. I mean, just in that one story, the second story, you've said so much. So I want to say to the audience, this is truly an opportunity for you to ask questions of Derreck too. So I do want to make this interactive. If you have questions, please do ask. I want to say to you, Derreck, that you said some amazing things. Number one, you said to me that it was very rewarding for you because you were helping other people. You were helping other people to meet their goals by you living your truth, by you following your journey. You also were able to help others. The thing that I know about the journey of entrepreneurship, and you've taught me a lot. You've really been my teacher. You have given me opportunities on many different businesses that I started, and we'll go into that because it's not about me right now, but we can go into another story. But you really have really taken the time to not just help me by doing business with me, but really giving me tips about what's your next step or where are you going to go. But the thing that I want to share with the audience is because you said something very vital, that people see you and they see, you driving your car and you living in the hills. They see all these things, but they don't understand the journey. They don't really understand your story. They see your glory, but they don't understand your story. And I really want people to understand, like, give me an example of an opportunity that you've actually had to go through where you have experienced a pitfall, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah,
I know you got them left and right because you share it with me all the time. But I want the audience to understand your tenacity and your girt.
Yeah, and let me just say this. I mean, it's really interesting with this whole political process. I'm not really like I said, I'm not a politician. So my whole team corrects me all the time. Like, Derreck, don't say that. Don't ever like, oh my God. Yeah, let me just talk. First and foremost, it's no secret. I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed. So the fact, yes, I have bankruptcy with a business. I have failed at business. We as Black people, we got to wake up. Stop thinking that, it's shameful or it's something you've done. I mean, to file bankruptcy is a legal transaction that was invented by the system. And if you know how to work it properly, you can actually succeed and further yourself, to be perfectly honest. So when you're losing your house or if you're losing your business, don't keep trying to hold on, stress. That's how people get cancer and diabetes and everything else. Let it go. If it's not meant to
let it go. Let it go.
Number two, talk to people. Talk to people. Talk to your community. Don't let the system grab your business or grab your house. It might be a brother, a sister, a friend. You never know who's going to help you. But that ego and that pride of not really talking about what you're going through. I talked to my network about what I was going through. They knew what I was going through and helped me reorganize the business. And now, legally, Hector, who was one of my first employees, I hired him at 17 years old. He was an immigrant. He's now legal. He met his wife at the restaurant. He has his family at the restaurant. I mean, he has the family now. He owns not one property, but two properties. Larry, who was formerly incarcerated, who runs the business with him, is another person I hired. So, I talked to the press and gave them the whole story, but they cherry picked what they wanted to, the public to know, to make it seem like I lost the restaurant. Now some outside entity. No, people I hired are running that restaurant and I mentor them and I'm there every single day, period. My face and my family is still on that wall. Ain't nothing changed. Everything I said in that restaurant is there. So, you don't be afraid to talk about, because at the end of the day, what I learned is you really have, what I would like to see in Oakland and when I get in office, is a financial literacy hub where individuals, especially the youth, can go and learn about finances and how to leverage those things we aren't taught. You know what I mean? Yeah. How to leverage your business. And then, when I go apply for a loan, if I need 100,000, they'll give me 50,000. Okay. If my white counterpart goes and applies for a loan, they'll give him 300,000. Not only that, they'll give him the accountant, the advertising, all the consulting, everything that person needs to succeed. And that's what we need to do in our community.
God, Derreck, you are just preaching to the choir. So first of all, I love that you are speaking out and you're being forthright about what we face as African-American businesses, especially as entrepreneurs. And the really interesting thing, Derreck, I don't know if you knew this statistic or not, but there are over 1,800 businesses started a day. And of those 1,800 new businesses that are started every day, 89% of them are started by people of color. And yet and still the 89% that are started by color, 99.999% of them are self-funded or bootstrapped. The institutions that we currently serve are not here serving us, and everybody keeps making excuses. And it's time to stop making excuses. It's time. We don't have time to wait no more. It's time for change to come now. Is that what Derreck Johnson is about? Change?
Exactly. Yeah, we're going to change it up because Oakland is in a dire strait and we got to stop looking. But we have to stop looking at everybody else, our hand out and hand up. Let's just hold our hand up and let's support our own. Let's educate our own people. Let's educate, our own youth, and let's tell the facts from fiction. And we have to stick together. Our Black churches have to do a better job. And I was on a conference call with them, and we kind of went back and forth, because I guess that's the other thing. I guess people just, they some reason think that I'm really soft. And those of you who know me, if you come, I'm going to come back. So period. I'm not going to back down from confrontation. I don't want to instigate it, but if it presents itself, I'm going to go toe to toe.
But that's what we need. We need people.
Right. So our churches, we got to step up, because a lot of people look to the Black church. So that's one thing I want to do. When I get in that office, my first and foremost challenge is to get this illegal dumping, just wipe it out. I don't know if you all have driven in the streets of East and West Oakland. I mean, it's deplorable. It is deplorable that our kids, our little Black babies, are walking to school in front of feces and urine and, 4 or 5 feet high of trash. It's unbelievable. That has to change. The homelessness, I'm going to give Lauren Taylor thumbs up. I mean, he just got this. He authored the encampment management. That's a bold move. That's a very divisive topic, because you got the activists that say don't touch, people can live wherever they want. Yeah, well, no, we need law and order. You can't live where we need to.
Thank you. Oh my God.
But we need to make sure that we spread that out.
Whatever your connection.
Yeah, we move that out. We spread it out.
Yes.
Right. So when I get in this seat, I'm gonna work with him to make sure that we execute. Because see, that's the other thing that I've learned with this. You can write and author a policy, you can get it passed, and then what? It just evaporates into thin air. No, we got to take action, and it's up to the public to make us as elected officials be accountable. Period.
Right, absolutely. Derreck, my grandbaby is crying. I really hate to do this in the middle of an interview. I'm telling you, but give me 2 seconds, y'all. I'm sorry. This is real life situation. Hold on 1 second, please.
I see a question on there about am I a newt? Yes, I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity. Yo, baby, what's happening? I am Alpha Delta Chapter. And I see Georgia, I see Tamara, I see people that I have known for years that I love and respect. So I guess we'll just wait for Cheryl. I can't see any questions. If I could, I would answer. We're gonna wait for Cheryl to come back. Bring the grandbaby with you. The grandbaby can be on the call with us.
Because I don't know what to do right now, D.
Just bring the baby, and I don't have kids, but just rock the baby, or bring them on. Baby might want to get some camera time.
So this is real time, you guys. Let me tell you something. We in a new world. This is my grandbaby. This is a riot. She like, Grandma, I'm not having it, and I'm crying. I might have to go get her a bottle. Get Mama's on her way upstairs. But anyway, with that said, no, Derreck, you are such on a roll right now that I need to hear everything that you're talking about. And I need right now you're speaking to my spirit, because I feel like we have been at such a disadvantage for so long, and there has been such a silent voice for so long, and there's been promises for so long. And what you're saying is that you're willing to go have the hard conversations with individuals that need to be about the change. And if they're not going to be about the change, then get out the way so that those who are committed can definitely step up. Yes, please.
Leadership, you have to make very hard decisions, and you're not going to please everybody. It is what it is. But I'm not running in this seat to worry, and I'm not going to get in this seat and then carry myself and make decisions just so I can get reelected in 4 years. I'm going to get in the seat, and I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm going to keep it 100 like I always have, and I'm going to really tell the people this is what's happening, this is how it impacts our community, and we need to take a look at all of the legislation and ordinances that have been passed, with over the past 8 to 10 years. Because if you look at Oakland over the 8 to 10 years, all of these ordinances that have been authored that are supposed to help and protect those that are in vulnerable communities, in the Black and brown communities, they've done just the opposite. We have been displaced. We have had to move out of this city. Our businesses have not grown. So we need to take a look at that and see what's going on. And either if they don't impact us in a positive way, we need to eradicate them and eliminate them, or edit them and change them. And then we need to author new bills and new ordinances, I should say, that really help preserve the Black community. You know, I'm Black, so I'm not going to be apologetic by wanting to speak up and make sure that my community that I come from is uplifted, period.
And support it. So I love a lot of what you spoke about all the trash, and I love what you talked about the homeless, because that is really a huge factor here in Oakland. And I love even more, Derreck, what are your views? I'm looking at some of the measures. I don't really want to go into them that really are going to be affecting businesses. And so for the business owners that are here that are struggling, Derreck, what is your, I love the fact you've already shared about, you know, don't be afraid to file bankruptcy. Don't be afraid to let go and restructure. Companies do it all the time. But, yes, but in pivoting, Derreck, in this, especially in this time, what would your recommendation be to those business owners that are really, Derreck, I mean, some people are struggling about, am I going to eat? It's a real thing. Some people are struggling about how I'm going to, like, what is it going to happen when this moratorium comes up and we got to go start paying rent? There's a lot of those dialogues. What is your recommendation to those individuals?
Well, as it pertains to the moratorium, I feel that business, especially Black businesses, you need to organize and you need to make your voices and your opinions heard. You need to demand that the city and government and the state and the federal government gets involved so that the issue between landlords and tenants, that we get that resolved. So here's the biggest issue. So when the federal government put pause on society, you know, when you press pause, everything stops. So you can't pick and choose what's going to stop. So if renters don't have to pay rent, you know, then landlords need to figure out, well, what do we do with our mortgages? You know, what do we do with our bills? You know, you have to make sure that when we're writing ordinances, that they're just not benefiting a certain sector of society, that they're benefiting everybody as a whole. And that's one of the biggest issues, is so much special interest, whether it's big corporations or unions, they get it, you know, and that's one of the things I want to address right here and now. I'm new to politics. I keep saying that. I didn't know what an independent expenditure was. I don't even care. It could be Red Riding Hood running for this seat. Lyft and Uber would have supported them to kick them out, period. You know, I had nothing to do with that. They didn't give the money to me. They gave the money to a PAC. The PAC did their own commercials. They did their own advertising. I've never talked to, well, to my knowledge, I never talked to anybody for Uber and Lyft. I've talked to thousands of people during this journey. But you need to organize. And one thing, you need to make a list. When I say organize, make a list, top 3 things of what you need. Is it, you know, a representation with your landlord? Is it financial assistance? And then don't be afraid to apply to these things that are out there. You know, Kathy Adams has done a fabulous job with the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce. You know, they have money. Go talk to them. You know, 10,000 here, 5,000 there. There's plenty of organizations around where you can get the money, but you got to apply for it.
Right. Well, one of the things this is so, oh my God, this is so enriching for me. And I hope the audience is really taking notes and really hearing the passion in Derreck's voice when he's talking about, this is not representing just Oakland. This is his home. This is who he is. And this is who he stands for. But Derreck, have this philosophy. When I was in grad school, I developed something called the C4 matrix. And it's very simple, but yet very powerful. And the C4 matrix is basically a 4 set of principles of the 4 C's. And they are communication. That's what you're telling them right now. Communicate. And through communication, you build connection. We need to build more connection, not only outside of the business, but within our community by reaching out to the Black Chamber of Commerce, reaching out to our local representatives and holding them accountable for what they do. But through communication and connection, you build collaboration. And with collaboration, then you can start to build community. I think one of the greatest tools that we have in this new pandemic, when the doors open, is community, because we can do anything together. I am reminded, Derreck, and I want to say this to you and to the audience, of a story that I just like to share real briefly. Like my grandmother never had a formal education, but she left each of her kids a substantial inheritance and left them property. And I often ask myself, how did she do that? She saved and she sold pies, she baked cakes, she sold dinners, she cleaned houses, she waited on, there's a lot of different things that she did in order to survive. Let us not think that our bridges have been burnt because we we have to go outside. We have to do better at building together and building with each other. So I just wanted to share that because I hear that in your communication. How do you feel about that, Derreck?
No, your 4 C's are right on point.
Right. No, please.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Am I freezing? Derreck, can you hear me? Hello.
Okay, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
No. But thank you for that. So we have a few questions in the chat box right now. One is Verna said, Verna Brooks, hello. Matter of fact, Larry Atkins, Tamara Steele, Georgia Washington. I want to thank everybody who's chimed in. I can't look on Facebook right now because I got a little baby in my arms and she is demanding bottle from me. So I'm multitasking. I love you guys and appreciate you for flexing with me. But Verna says, what official in Oakland have you admired as great stewardship recently? And can you work with them?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know too many of the current council people today. I knew the former ones. I will say that I don't know Lauren Taylor well, but I'm going to get to know Lauren. I'm going to get to know all the council. But I'm pretty much old school. I've been mentored by Elihu, Leo Brazil, and we all have different views. But I respect the service that they gave to the community, and I respect their knowledge, and I listen. And a lot of the things, times have changed drastically, of course, since they were in office. But just some things that they had implemented and ideas that they had are still, relevant today. So I pretty much have been influenced a lot by, I guess, previous generations that have, came before me.
So awesome. So Derreck, that brings up a great question for me that I'd like to ask you. As you embark upon this, like you said, you're not a politician. Quite frankly, I kind of like that because then you're not coming with these pre-biases, but you will be a politician once elected to office. So my question to you is, in being a politician, how do you see yourself, Derreck, navigating and collaborating with the people that are currently there? Have you been in communication with them thus far? And if not, how do you see that gap bridging so that you can, obviously you got to build community in order to make the change. So how do you see that?
Excuse me. I have, and just to let you know, I don't have COVID. I have asthma, so my asthma has been giving me a problem the past couple of days.
We'll start to think.
I have relationships with Lynette, and I know Larry. I know the council people we've met. As far as I've had introductions with them, but how would I work with them? I will bring people together. I won't come to this seat with any biases and what I think or what I like or dislike. I really want to engage with the community, and what I really want to do is make sure that they engage with the community. The at-large seat is citywide, and it's citywide for a reason. My job is to work with each district and make sure that each district is aligned for one purpose.
Guys, I'm so sorry about the breaking in and out.
Kaiser people on this call, so that Oakland thrives,
Yeah.
And so in order to way to do that is, like you said, through collaboration. I'm also very, very surprised that during this process, politics is very divisive. You're either on one side or you're on the other side. People are like, well, Libby is rocking with you, but yet you're very close with Desley. I said, I am. And I don't have anything to do with that. That's their issue. So my role and my job is to talk to all sides of every issue and hopefully bring them together so that they can talk. Because I think that we can always find something there we're aligned with and start the conversation there. Then we can have the deeper and more difficult conversation on the things that we're not aligned about. But you got to at least come together and have the conversation. And what I've learned through this process, opposing sides don't talk in this city. They don't at all. People are like, oh, you talked to so-and-so? And I was like, well, yeah, I've been knowing so-and-so for a while. And maybe you should talk to him since y'all got an issue going on. It's just, I think the behavior needs to change. We need to stop the small-mindedness and think bigger and larger,
right.
And know that we need to come together. We just need to come together. This is a time for us to come together. This is a time for us not to, the nation is divided. Look, we have so many divisive, measures right now as far as with race and equity, and we need to find a way to come together And hopefully I will be that person. And I'm going to do everything I can to bring people together and say, look, at the end of the day, your ordinances or whatever you're working towards, this is how it's affecting this community. Look at it. Because I'm quite sure most of the people that we're talking about that sit in these seats and that are from unions and from developments, they don't go down in Deep East and see the trash. They don't know how people are living. They don't talk to the young brother and sister on the street. They judge them, you know, but they don't understand. They don't have a job. So they're not on this corner selling whatever they're selling, you know, because they want to. They don't really have a choice. And so we need to create jobs in this town. We need to clean it up. And we need to come together and stop all the little childish behavior that's going on with this person not liking that person. I mean, that's not really what it's about, you know.
Well, you say about crossing the lines, because the only way that we're ever going to come to a resolution is if we do start working together. And if we don't do that, then we're always going to have this polarized difference. There has to be a meeting. I mean, we don't have to agree on everything, but we have to be willing, like you said, to communicate. Right. It has to start there. And if it's really for the betterment of this community, then everybody should be, if nothing else, love Oakland. Let's do this for the love of Oakland and the people of Oakland. All people of Oakland, especially people of color. I say yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
This is this has been so rewarding. I want to say to the audience, I want to thank you so much for rocking with me. And I want to thank you really so much for your flexibility. We're not done yet, but I really take great pride in doing the work that I do. And so when you guys are flexible with me and you know what I got going on in my world, I just really want to say thank you, because you could be anywhere else and you chose to be here with me. Today's conversation was such a critical conversation because this city desperately needs leadership, and we desperately need people in position that are going to be speaking on our behalf. I am very confident because I know Mr. Derreck Johnson, and I know him not only as a friend, I know him because I've sat beside him. I've watched him work. I've watched how he managed. I've watched him mentor me. I've watched him invest in me when he didn't have to. I've watched him invest in others. And we need people that are going to invest back in the community. What I want to ask anyone, if you have questions, please do ask if you have any questions right now. But Derreck, what is it that you want this audience to know most now? Because we are only a short distance away before we got to be at the ballot. And if we're going to bring about the change that you're talking about, Derreck, what do you want to ask of this audience?
I want you to vote. Of course, I want you to vote for me, but I want you to vote. I want you to encourage any and everybody you know, especially Black, young, African-American men and women, to vote. It's alarming the amount of youngsters that are not registered and feel that their vote doesn't count and have no interest in voting. It is, if you can go talk to one person a day until voting time to let them know the importance and their vote does count and we need them to vote. People have to vote, and it's up to us to spread and talk to our own people. Just like we house our own people and we employ our own people, we have to also mentor our own people and tell them to vote. I think the message would resonate, you know, much, much, much better. Also, I'm having an event next Friday. My last event is with Mayor London Breed of San Francisco. We're going to have a conversation next Friday, October 29th at 5 p.m. Cheryl, I'll send that to you. You can blast it out. I need everybody to participate. Please join. Just, you know, vote. And any support, any dollar amount, these races are extremely expensive. I want to make sure I close the gap. Just get out and vote. And I'm in it to win it. I'm working very hard. You know, I started this out as a long shot. 2 months ago, I was 18 points behind. A poll came out Tuesday morning that shows that I'm 7 points ahead, which I still don't want to go on no polls. I want to make sure polls to me, I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep working. I want to hear that on November 3rd. But I need the support. You know, tell everybody you know. Any questions? I mean, you know, Cheryl, you can put up my website, www.johnsonforoakland.com. There's plenty of people on this call that knows me. You can
Johnson.
Yeah, www.johnsonforoakland.com.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. You guys, I can't say it enough. We are looking for transformation and we are looking for change. And you want somebody who really cares about Oakland, who is committed to Oakland. I know then you need to make Derreck Johnson your choice. Devona McClinton said, you got her vote. Cheryl said, you got my vote. Tamara still said, you got this.
Yeah, but Tamara's my, that's back from high school too. I love Tamara.
And she called me like, Derreck? I'm like, yes. Yes, my favorite girl.
I was 14, so I've been doing Tamara for a long time.
Yes. You what?
I said, I've been doing this since I was 14.
Right. So there was a question asked, and I want to make sure that we get all questions asked. Verna was official. There was another one. Georgia said, bankruptcy is a provision. There is use when you need it. Don't let your pride get in the way. Thank you.
Georgia couldn't have said it any better at all.
Yes. Larry Atkins said, please support the homeless. Tennis courts of Oakland issues. Hope you're on the side of the youth and helping the homeless to find a better place. Thank you, Larry Atkins. I want to do a couple of different things. Derreck, so you talked about promoting you. How is your website where we go to make donations?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So there is up there www.johnsonforoakland.com. Make sure that you support Derreck in any way that you can. I will go on and do a special PSA announcement when Derreck gives me the information in regards to his conversation next Friday with Mayor London Breed. I want to say to you, Derreck, if there's anything that we can do to help uplift the voice of Derreck Johnson, know that we're in your corner. One of the things I say to our community is it really does take a village. Even doing the work I'm doing, I love doing it, but I can't do this for free. I'd love to, but I have bills to pay too. I got a grandbaby. She's going to need a college fund. She's looking to grandma to make sure that she can have the best education, etc. So we all need each other's support. It takes nothing. It takes nothing but a second for you to pass the word on. I would like to ask, Derreck asked to find somebody, at least one other person that you're going to be pulling to the polls to vote. I say to you, pull at least 5. If each of us did 5, I think that we can at least make a dent towards the progress. I was just really floored when I learned that in previous election, 2016, that Detroit lost, or Hillary Clinton at that time lost the vote by like some 10,000 votes. We can't afford to let that happen. We have to vote. We have to take an active role. And we also have to understand something too, that Rome wasn't built in a day. These things take time. What we want to do is when Derreck is in office, we want to get behind him and support him while letting him know our issues, keeping our finger on the pulse, but being there for the fight. It's a community effort. It's up to us to save our community and make sure we take a stance, and no is not the answer. The only answer is yes, yes, and yes, we can. So Derreck, I just want to say I'm just overjoyed right now. My energy is high. I'm jittery, but I'm feeling so good. And I just want to wish you the well. Any last words you want to share?
Just thank you. Go vote. Check me out at www.johnsonforoakland.com. And reach out. Any questions, anybody you'd like for me to talk to, I will always be available. Thank you so much. I, of course, have a 6 o'clock. So
yes.
Back to another Zoom, but thank you all so much, and thank you for Cheryl. Thank you. Much love.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed day.
See you all later. All right. Bye-bye.